Okay, so straight on the heels of actually doing the Bren carrier down there, or the universal carrier, absolutely blown away by it. What we've got down here, again by RIICH Models, is the 1/35 scale Mk.IV anti-tank gun, or the 6-pounder. So having a quick look around on the box, as you can see, pretty much like the other one. We can see we've got photo etch again, which means hoping out for some good detail. We've actually got plenty of decals down in there, which is unusual for something like this. So your kit number for this one is RV35018, and we've got, it is available in drab. Okay, so you can see nice little box art as well for it. We have, this one is actually still sealed up a little bit, so we'll just do that, and then we'll stick that there. If it's going to sit, it will. Okay, so we were blown away really by the amount of detail that went through into that universal carrier, and all the little bits that went in, the amount of photo etch, and really you've got a full detailed kit in something so small. So we're hoping here is this is going to follow along in those said footsteps. So usual thing down in there, we've got a little bit of for ordering and all the rest of it. Your parts down in there, so it looks like we've got a couple of tyres, 1 fret of photo etch. We do have a metal barrel as well, which is a beautiful touch as well, a little bit of thread and a couple of screws. So this is a pull-out type one. Usual thing as well, so we're assuming one of these is probably a metal barrel right the way through, as it was calling out for. You breach all the details, as you might imagine. Again, looks like it's somewhat movable as well, so we've actually got the lock going down at the back, and all the items of photo etch and everything, and the sight, the lot is going to make this up to be very, very detailed, as much as the actual universal carrier was. Again, opening up various holes and things to put in. We've got shells going in there, shell racks. Obviously we've got fuel cans, water cans, things like that going right the way through, and then obviously attaching that entire front end onto the actual carriage system itself, and then all the parts going in, which again are mainly made up of photo etch for all of these small parts right the way through. And then we've got the dig in plate at the back, again being fitted down in there, with various parts of photo etch being added to detail those up. A couple of options, you can either have it down or open for the sight system down on this one as it makes its way through, and then again we've got later versions of this one if you're going to have these sort of handles here at the front and various items put in, and then again because you don't want to glue it because it can open up to spread, or if you want it in the toe position to have it together. Then we've got a tyre system being fitted down in there, separate wheel hubs, and again some very nice detailed parts going right the way through on that one. Then we've got mounting up onto the actual carriage itself, so putting those in, and then again the lower parts of the armour plating, things like that, all being fitted down into there. Some of the tools, some of the stowage items, again, so shovels, picks, pry bars, things like that, usual things going into it, and then right the way through. So we've got some cabling being fitted. Again, it is specific, so if you want the more modern version or the sort of earlier versions, depending if it has it on there or not. And then again, travel position versus actually in the firing position, with these pistons for actually spreading out the actual system itself. Ammunition boxes and shell boxes, things like that as well. Plenty of detail of that one going on there, as you can see. So not much to it. It's going to be in probably olive drab right the way over, let's face it. But what you have got is an absolute ton of detail for the shells. So you've actually got the shell carriers as well, the crates, then the tubes as well, and then the actual rounds as well. So you've actually got 3 lots of stuff going down in here. And we've got different types of shells as well. So obviously we've got high explosive, armor piercing, and so forth and so on right the way through on that. And then again, all the crates are beautifully detailed. That explains the very big call out for the decals, which are right here. So again, we'll just have a quick sneaky peek in here just to see what they're like. Okay, so we've got just the one piece of photo etch, but it is quite a small unit, as we can see down in here. But you can see absolute tiny, I'm assuming these are the firing caps for the shells, absolutely minute. So plenty of little bits of detail there. Then we've got the decals, so let's have a quick look at these, see if they are, again, rather on the thick side. But where we're going to be using them, if we catch them in the light, you can probably see how thick they are. Where you'll be using them, I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem. On armour you can bury those deep in a couple of coats of flat and things like that before you go in with your weathering and so forth and so on. So let's just pop all these back in there and keep all those safe. We do have, like we were expecting, a barrel. It's not totally hollowed out, but it's hollowed out far enough, as you can see down in there. Again, really nice, because when they're metal like this, it's very light, it's only aluminium. Very light aluminium as well, but again, no center seams to worry about, anything else, just that next level of detail down on there, so that's actually quite nice indeed. Couple of thread, couple of tires, which these are injection molded rock hard. These aren't actually rubber tires, they're solid. Okay, so no center seams to worry about on those either, so that's actually really good news. And again, you can easily sand in a flat spot into that one, and the obligatory bit of thread in there as well. Okay, so as I said, we've only got a couple of sprues in here, so let's just start in the ammo one first. So this is the ammo and the crates. Okay, so again, looking down on this one, as you can see, you can see the shells. You don't get tons of them, it's just literally ones and twos of, well, it's ones of everything actually. And then obviously we've got the boxes, the containers, things like that. Okay, but what you do get is obviously empty shell as well, so that's quite a nice to have just lying around. And again, all the ejector pins seem tucked out of the way and quite nice, no problem with that at all. This plastic though is a lot harder than the grey plastic, so obviously you get a couple of different types down on here. It's so close I can hardly get my knife in to cut this open. Okay, then we got the actual gun itself, and again, it's not totally tons of parts down in here as you can see, but good, clean, crisp, sharp, no real sign of flash. Some tiny parts on here, to be honest. So if we have a look round, as you can see, some very, very nice details. These wheel hubs especially, very nicely done. If we look down, these tiny little parts, again, we were saying about these sprue gates, beautifully done, very nice and sharp, good details. The bolt detail, everything is nice and sharp to the touch. Okay, as it should be. We've got a little bit of flash running around these containers. Okay, but again, a couple of swipes, no problem at all. And then down on here, again, these tiny little parts, beautifully molded on, no real sign of any problems at all. It has got a little bit of flash around it though, just to be mindful of a little bit of cleanup perhaps. But on the smaller parts, it's pretty devoid of all flash at all. So it's not like you're having to clean up the little parts, which obviously are the headache. So no problem with that at all. And down on the blind side, again, very, very nice. Got a little bit of flash just down in here, this little guy in here, again, that's easy clean up, things like that. And again, no problem. A few little ejector pins poking their ugly head through, you probably want to take care of. Like we've got these down in here, you're going to need to sand them off. But on this one, to be honest, they have got a few ejector pins that are just raising their heads. Like this little guy down in here needs to be cleaned up. There's a few down in here you're probably going to want to get in there and chisel out or sand out, things like these. These are pretty nasty as well down in here, so it's a little bit unfortunate on that one. But again, they are technically on the blind side, but on something like this, you're going to see it from all angles, aren't you? Okay, so very nice, some great detail down in here in the gun, for the gun working parts, things like that. Really very nice indeed, no problems. That's pretty clean, no real flash on this one at all. Very nice. Again, these smaller items down in here, very, very nicely done. And again, blind side, this is a far nicer sprue, to be honest. Everything's tucked out of the way, no problems at all with any of that. That's actually very, very nice indeed. So there we go. To go along with, if you wanted to do your universal carrier, you could have it towing a 6-pound gun, and if you did, you've got yourself a very, very nice kit. Again, small on size, very large on detail.